welcome to another episode of Ilyashi with me, Maggie. And on Ilyashi, we get to tackle stories that affect us. They affect the society. These stories are things that happen every day. And these are the things that we see happening all around us. And these stories, we get to also talk about them in depth. And we have people that actually have the facts. And if you want to know more about what Ilyashi is all about, stay tuned after this short commercial break. Welcome back, and you're still here with me, Maggie. Before we even start our topic for today, I just want to say thank you to all our viewers, everyone that watches us on TV, on Topstar Channel 114, and everyone that follows our social media platforms on Facebook at BMTV Zambia Channel 114, TikTok, BMTV Zambia, Instagram, BMTV Zambia. We're also on YouTube. So in case you miss an episode, maybe it hasn't repeated, you can simply just catch it on our YouTube page at BMTV Zambia. And I always have guests with me in the studio. And today I am talking to someone that you've never seen before, but he's someone that you know. Rev, you're welcome to Ilyashi.
Pleasure, Maggie. Thank you to be here, and thanks for the invitation.
Welcome.
Greetings to the viewers.
Thank you so much. It is so nice having a man finally in the studio. I always have a woman.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I always have Mama Chika Moneka, but I'm so glad that we at least have to get a man's perspective about some of the issues that we talk about.
I like what she drops from time to time. She's quite the wise elder.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's an interesting woman.
Absolutely.
So today, Rev, so today, Rev, like you have said, speak it as it is. You are also a man that speaks issues as they are. And I know there are lots of people out there that are like, they're always trying to contradict everything that you are saying. But I know you're a man of your word and you know what you speak about. So today, I really want to get it from a man's perspective. Why do men go out of their houses? A man is married. What makes him leave their house and start dating someone else?
Okay, so being a reverend, I'm going to throw this in there. I'm going to say first and foremost, man is sinful. And by nature, he is sinful. His flesh is sinful. And so even for people that, come to know the Lord, they will always wrestle with their flesh. So man is essentially three components. He is spirit, possesses a soul that lives in a body. Now, even if he got saved, the spirit is saved, but the soul is bound to all that goes on in this realm of the flesh. And so that soul, depending on what kind of background it has and the issues that one has experienced, there will always be this tie to the flesh. So essentially, the walk of any person that's looking to walk morally is always going to be a fight against their flesh, because naturally the flesh wants to be gratified. And one of the realities we always say is that if somebody is lustful, marriage is not going to cure lust. Why? Because even after they get married, that lust will still be there. They may have sex at home, but they'll get to a point where they become used to that sex. They become acclimatized. And so sooner or later, that little demon inside of them will say, I think go and try somewhere else also. And I've heard very unfortunate sayings like "Atisunga zidi ndio imozi na eka type of that kind of thinking, which I totally don't agree with. But it appeals to the general culture within society, which is male centered. So the male centered culture or thinking is that you can't be having the same type of person throughout, not even same type, same person throughout. At Ifrinka, you do some variety. So really what takes people out is exactly that. It's the fact that the flesh within that individual, the lust within those people drives them out. It's what makes them go and have these quote unquote adventures out there, because they need variety. Okay. Very unfortunate, but that's the reason.
Okay. So now, would we say the sex at home is not enough for a man to actually just start having multiple women or other women outside their marriage?
Again, it's back to the last thing. It's just this fantasy, because the reality, for those of us who actually do therapy, we know for a fact that even if they go to another woman, they'll be bored with that one, then they'll go to another, and then they'll be bored, they'll go to another. There is, in psychology, we say that when you're dealing with issues of addiction, usually it is because you are looking for the first high. So in life, as funny as it is, when you have sex for the first time with anybody, who, especially one that you like and love and whatever, it is always very exciting. It's fireworks. But as you go on, there's a built-in tolerance. So you're no longer as intrigued, no longer as excited with that individual. And now, if you are not able to have something stronger as a bond beyond the sex, then many times these men get bored, and then they say, let me just spice up my life with a bit of side chicks or whatever. So that's what it is. It's really the build-up of tolerance. And so the only way out of that is to have the discipline to say, I will not go out, and I will stay in here, and I will make this work. So that's really what it is. But the unfortunate part is that for most of these men, it's not that the sex is not okay at home. The problem is that they are just, lustful. I know for a fact that, yes, when you are with the same person for a long time, it's always going to be a challenge. You get to kind of jailana each other, you get used. But if you are good friends and can talk openly, you can begin to indicate what it is that you want to do to excite your sex life. And again, this is where now, depending on the type of person you marry, there may be reservations. I know that this is not just a problem with men. I also know that's a problem with women. So there are some women who have certain preferences. And then how do you tell the husband? Next thing the husband will be saying, where did you learn about this thing? And that can bring problems. But the truth is, being very open with one another and just telling each other what you want can make it a very, very exciting reality, such that one doesn't go out there. But unfortunately, our culture, the language is like, just go out there. There's exciting fish out there. School. What? So there's a lot of, that stuff going on. And for many men, especially those that do become financially successful, it's very challenging because even the women, unfortunately, even the women will throw themselves at these men. That I know for a fact. So they will throw sorts of traps. And if the man is got no good what I call self-will.
So now, looking at the fact that some men are so lustful in nature, cheating has become something that is very common nowadays.
I think it's always been common. It's just that social media has made it more pronounced.
Yes, it's made it so much. It's like in the open.
Absolutely.
So now, as society, should we just accept that a man can have, I'm married. Am I just supposed to accept that my man should just definitely one way or another?
The truth of the matter is, for me, again, I'm going to speak from an angle as a pastor. As a pastor, hell no. But you see, we live in a really rotten society, and this is what they teach out there. This is the language. This is the cultural conversations in those pubs, in the bars, in the football match, sessions. This is what's being conversed. These are the kind of languages out there. That's why the only thing that can really help to see men really become men of valor is to be around individuals that honor what marriage is. The sad part, Maggie, is that a lot of people in this generation are victims of modeling. So what is modeling? Modeling is the fact that our generation, in fact, let me go to the Gen Zs. The Gen Zs are watching us. And the majority of my generation are in a mess. It's like side chicks, second wife, third wife, divorce, cheating. This is the standard that they are watching. Many of them are living in homes where parents are no longer together. So stepmom, mixed families. Some are just single, raised by single mothers. I mean, the modeling is really bad. So they don't have a good model of what an honorable man is. Yes, because probably their fathers either rejected them, the fathers are out there, they are absent. This is normal. And then to worsen that, our generation also had bad models. Our parents were also in that mess. So we also come from a generation where we don't really have good father models. I mean, my generation watched fathers have second homes and third homes, and this was standard. You know, like we came from homes where you have a quote unquote father figure in the house, but your mom is not the first wife.
Yeah, that's
true. There is another home, and you've got half brothers, you've got step brothers and stepsisters, and this was the model. So a lot of my guys in my generation suffer from that. So they come into their own homes and they're like, but that's what we used to see.
They pass it
my
on.
dad used to, so they do the same, and now the Gen Zs also are seeing the same thing. And the sad part is we are also many of my generation were raised by single mothers because of the same problem. So you had single moms, they fought, they raised. So now you have young men, us, who have a tough time trying to create a composite of what a good father is. That's why the topic of mothers, no, I'll take care of my mom this, mom that. And so what happens is when this generation, my generation, gets married, what are they doing? They are looking out for their mothers unusually high. Not because they are mean people, the mothers are mean, but because they had to watch their mother struggle to raise them, and they were totally neglected by their father, so they hate their fathers. So you imagine the modeling in the head of that gentleman, my generation, and what they are passing on to the next generation. So the next generation watch this thing where the mother is more superior, what. And so they come to really despise what's going on in the home, and then they get married. Now, when they get married, they don't have models. So this is why you are seeing all this pain. This pain comes from somewhere. This cheating comes from somewhere. People don't have role models. My generation, like I say, side chick was a standard. If you want to prove it, just go and do a profile of all the politicians you know. All of them. I'm trying to think of one who didn't have a side chick or a side child. And that's a tough one. I'm looking at Angel here, our producer, and he knows what I'm talking about. It's very tough. I don't think any of us can remember a politician that didn't have a second home or going through a third marriage or a fourth one. And with my kids scattered all over. So when these people die, the people that show up at the funeral is just a stunner for everybody. Because Pamela Munka Ilyashi, you just get surprised. We want to introduce and people get into serious issues and quarrels and fights, but this was a child you can't tag. I think recently, one well-known beloved my finance minister was going through a case where they want to even exhume his body. Can you imagine? Just to prove paternity. So that's what I'm talking about. So this all compounds into the mess you're talking about.
You older generations really messed us up.
It's not even me. I'm going to push it to them. But for people like me, people like myself, and there's a bunch of us, people like myself, we have decided enough is enough. The buck stops with us. We're going to demonstrate to our children what a real man is. A man who stays home, a man who loves his family, is present in the real sense of that word, not present per TV. Present, actively engaged in the affairs of their children. Faithful to their mothers. Faithful to their mothers, to the best of our ability. And I get accused of being a junior Jesus and all these things, but I just say, look, I come from a background where I was a mess. Before I knew the Lord, a real mess, not even funny mess. But we got drawn out of that garbage and put on a good place. And so we realized this pain, this intergenerational pain has to stop. So I agree. Our generation has really messed up the Gen Zs, but we were messed up by the previous generation, and back it goes. And that's why it's so important when all is said and done, you say, I end it. It ends with me. I'm not, my brothers, my cousins may do whatever they want, but for me, my home, my house, they will know what a present father looks like. They will know what a real man looks like. They will know. And they will know that real man by looking at how that man treats their mom. Because that's another area where there's been such a pain for a lot of people. The fathers really mistreat their wives because they also come from that type of background. So they're focused on their mothers as well. And then those mothers also, the fathers were never there. They were, the Bashimain thing. Because that Bashimain thing goes all the way to the 40s, huh?
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yes, the 1940s, because that's when the whole mining thing really took off in this country. And people forget that the Vashimaine story also comes from the trips, what they used to call it, the stimelas, the trains that would go down to South Africa to build a gully, which is Joburg. Yeah, so Joburg was built by foreigners, specifically Malawians, Zimbabweans, Zambians, Mozambicans. Yeah, this was the major group that would be going to South Africa and coming back. So our grandfathers, from my father's side, our grandfathers were that generation. And there they had family.
Yeah,
Here they had family. And if they were coming from the village now,
Kuri family now.
so you all come to meet at the death of the big man. When the big man dies, that's when you go,
Okay.
there's a whole other family. We didn't know. So that's what we want to stop.
Okay. Now, someone would question as pastors, because every time someone is getting married, of course, they're going to have traditional teachings. They're going to teach them traditionally, and they're going to have a marriage that is blessed by the Lord. As pastors, someone would question, are you really doing the needful? Are you actually teaching these people to be faithful to their partners?
Unfortunately, even though the pastors are doing their best, as a therapist, because I am a therapist, I'm a neurotherapist, and one of my areas where I'm dealing with a lot of people is in the marriage space. First of all, I don't do premarital counseling, and the reason I don't do it is because I feel it's a checklist. So I just don't do it. I've had a few individuals come to me and really push me to do it. So one thing I always tell them is that, are you willing to forego of the wedding if in our counseling I demonstrate to you that you people are not compatible? And I've had several do that. And every single one, unfortunately, who's agreed hasn't gotten married. So meaning my counseling may be really lousy. But the truth is, mine isn't. I don't do, when your husband comes, you should do this. When your wife comes, I don't do that. I don't do that. Now, for me, I look at your personalities. We go into the depth of who you really are. We deal with your expectation alignment, which is one of the most challenging exercises I carry out. I do this for married couples. And here's the consolation. For all the married couples that I've dealt with, they're almost over 40 now. 40 couples and individuals I've dealt with, only 2 have actually gone ahead and divorced. Yet every one of those 40, when they were coming, they were contemplating divorce seriously. I say, well, before you divorce, allow me. And then we go through the therapy. And when we go through the therapy, I am here to tell you only 2. And even these 2 who have gone on with divorce, one is on separation and it's the other one that went through the divorce. So only 2 out of the 40. So you can see, for me, the success is more in the therapy. So coming back to your question, the pastors, teachers are teaching what they've been told to teach, which is basically, this is what it means to have and to hold. This is what it means to be a wife. This is what it means to be a husband. The question of finances, the question of family, the question of this, the question of that, the question of sex, the question of... So you look at all these things, but the problem is you're dealing with individuals that are, how can I put it? They are in love. So they whatever you're saying there is just we'll make it work until they get in that marriage. Now once that thing goes, then now you're really looking at the real person. That's when now you start hearing all the stories. And then for me as a therapist, those who said, no, you know what, we really need your service because we are at a bad place. We argue, we quarrel. We're really trying to understand why we're so sparky. And then when we go into the therapy with me, it surfaces very, very powerfully, because what I do is to bring out the real people. Yes, I have a way in which we in our therapy, I go past all the pretense and we get the real person. And then everybody sees the real person. That one sees the real person. So you say, now, are you ready for this?
Okay.
Then they would ask, what do you think? I said, no, it's not my job. My job is just to show you the reality, and then you must make your own decision. And for the 2-3 couples, because I always refuse, I said, no, I'll send you to a friend of mine. I've got colleagues who do premarital. Go to those. But the ones who've insisted, not a single one has gotten married. So you can see, for me, it then points to a story that perhaps we are not, the counseling needs to probably move a notch higher. Then I feel our culture is also too biased towards women.
Yeah.
Why should the woman learn the whole business of marriage and the guy doesn't get taught? The guy must be taught also properly.
That's
so
true.
that they should be also undergoing a men's kind of class where they are taught this is what marriage is, this is what wives are like. And if it's men teaching, they're going to, and the experienced ones who've been married for a long time now, they have stories to say.
Yeah.
So now if us guys can learn from such experienced men, we go in there properly, not this copper tinted lenses business we're seeing. Because when these guys go in, just 1 week later, Parifon ko busa, I don't know what's going on yet.
But you just got married.
That's not very much of a honeymoon. We've actually got cases where from the honeymoon into separation. Oh yes.
That's that.
Like serious. And this is even after the churches have put their rules, because some churches were getting so fed up with the people getting divorced because the rates are very, very bad right now.
Yeah.
So some churches got really fed up with this, the more established churches. So they've put rules. So I know like Bread of Life, Miracle Life, Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross, like a bunch of them, North Mid Assemblies, all of them have got the 1 year. So if you join the church or you come to the church or whatever, and you say we want to get married, they say 1 year. 1 year. You're going to be observed and then at the same time counseled and everything. And then after the end of that year, that's when they give you a date. So do you know, for your information, even with that, we're having people, one case, my marriage mentor was telling me, we are literally from the honeymoon to separation.
What went wrong? You would wonder.
No, I know. And as a therapist, I can tell you exactly what went wrong. I can tell you what went wrong.
Yeah, please.
Why people? Yeah, it's expectation alignment.
Yeah.
It's the fact that the pretense goes after you get married. So what you expected isn't what you see.
Yeah.
Yeah, simple. So there's this desire. People have this image of what marriage should be, and society has put so much pressure on getting married that a lot of people will go miles to pretend just to go to get that ring and get married. But then when they go into reality, they find other things. And there's another issue, which whenever I say, I get into trouble. But I'm going to say it.
Please.
It's called Ilyashi, this program, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so let me tell you. So the other issue is that, especially for Christians, because these non-Christians or the people who are not serious with God, what they usually say is that you must sample the goods. I don't support that thinking, but they have that view. So it's got its own merits, but I do not support it. Now, for the ones who are Christians, what tends to happen, my sister Maggie, is we've got women that played and went all over. And in the words of Mama Chikamonek, they were dealt with crankshafts and propellers.
And the boy joints are now
gone. So now they come to church, they do the Kaho holy thing, they play the cards right. They are this holy sister. And these to my innocent brothers get married. And then when they now go into that honeymoon or whatever, then they discover that there's no crankshafts, there are no ball joints, there's no propellers.
Everything is loosed up.
No, it's not loose. They're gone. There's nothing there. So when they discover these things, it's a shock of their life. And for some, they can't handle that. They become deeply, deeply disturbed. And then they want out. So generally, that's the scenario. Yes, it can be a reverse also, but it's very rare. Reverse. Usually, it's the other way. It's usually the men who are naive and they get a very, very smart lady who pulls off.
Played the cards right.
She plays the cards right. And then when they get into the marriage, they realize, oh my God, what have I gotten into?
Yeah.
And that's where your problems come. So for me, that's usually the biggest one.
Right.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're just going to take a very short commercial break. We'll be back with Rev. Ya lo que. This is Kristen Cole. Keep watching BMTV on channel 114 Top Star. I can't wait to see you on that top. Welcome back, and just you here with me, Maggie, and Rev, of course. Well, Rev, we wanted a break. You really
threw a few spanners in the works. Yes.
I want to ask you if you've had issues, or people have come to you about such issues and how you handle them?
Which one
About a
specifically?
man cheating or going out of their way?
No, plenty. In fact, every woman that has come to me on issues of therapy, the issue of cheating is somewhere in that picture. Yeah, because there's a lot of pain from the cheating. And for those who come from backgrounds where it's a pastor or somebody who is a leader, it's usually much more painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of shock because some of these women don't believe that their husbands would do this. So they are dealing with the shock that this man has cheated, but secondly, that this is a pastor cheating. Yeah, they do go through. It's quite a shocker, and one has to, from a therapy standpoint, one has to come to terms with the reality of what has happened. Because usually when you get trauma, because that's trauma. So whenever you get trauma, there are basically three reactions people have. Reaction number one is avoidance. So you realize there's a problem, but you don't want to deal with it. So you keep pushing it forward. The second one is denial. Like, what problem are you talking about? It's not in my family. Me, there's no such thing. And then the third one is defiance. How can they do this to me? That's our own. So either they'll go beat them up or go cheat also, but that's defiance. So these three methods are all very, very negative. The most ideal way is to confront, but confronting with pain is difficult. So we have to neutralize the pain first. So essentially, that's what I do. And you know, when it comes to situations like that, there are usually only three options. Either you leave the marriage, you stay in the marriage, or you wait for the right conditions to determine whether you're going to leave or go. So in other words, you're waiting because you're trying to put things in order. So are you leaving? Yes, okay, fine. But you need to put things in order. You don't just get up and leave. Are you staying? Yeah, but then how do you stay if you're in pain? So one has to come to terms with the reality and then deal with it. A lot of our women in the past, they used to come to terms with the reality and stay. Because they're told, okay, he's cheated. He's not the first man to cheat. He won't be the last. What are you going to do?
It's like you're comforting yourself that...
Not even comforting yourself. The ladies who you go to talk to, they'll tell you. At here where you're looking at us, all of us. Is there anyone here in this group who hasn't been cheated on? All of them, they've been cheated on. So they say, so if I'm not picture wako man anyway, see first. If you turn separate na picture mwatio na tawasi ya midala yani. At here, exact. So now zikose ise chapi. Now how do I deal with the pain? That's where now we'll teach you how to deal with the pain. So depending on who you go to ask, they'll give you some very interesting options of how to deal with the pain. But at the end of the day, it is the reality, and the only thing that one can do is to come to terms with how they are going to deal with that situation. Are they going to leave or are they going to stay? And that's really what it is. So even as a pastor, when people come to me, I tell them, okay, before you leave or stay, let me help you with therapy. So those who can afford, they do my therapy. And like I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 don't leave. Now ask yourself a question, why don't they leave? Answer, because one, they come to terms with the pain that they're dealing with. Two, they also adjust themselves. You see, one of the saddest but most powerful truths that people avoid is that it takes two to tango. Behavior is a symptom, not a character trait. People behave in a particular way because of the underlying issues. And a lot of times in marriage, you have a lot of underlying issues which are not resolved. Conflict resolution is one of the most powerful skills you can learn in marriage. Take it from me. Conflict. How do you have a conflict with the missus? And do you want to eat at yes? If you're from a very serious argument. And I always tell people, there's a difference in an argument and a quarrel. An argument is you, Maggie, have a view, I have a view. I'm trying to prove my view to you, you're trying to prove your view to me. So we're arguing an idea. That's an argument. That's good. Conflict is very healthy. A quarrel, it stops being the idea and becomes a person. You know, the problem with you are very down. So now that's no longer, now we're no longer dealing with the issue. Now you've gone to attack the individual. And of course the other individual say, so you think I'm the only Dow, and that even you are Dow. No, you are Dow. So you picked a Dow person, which tells me a lot about your Downess.
It's back and forth.
So now it's a quarrel. At that stage, you're not discussing an idea anymore, and that's unhealthy. So the secret is, can you be able to have conflict but not quarrel? And that's a skill. And when people start to learn how to have real conversations that focus on an idea and not allow emotions, and many times the emotions come from what we call past experiences, because our personalities are shaped by events and experiences from our past. And what we tend to do is we carry those filters into the current relationship. That's why even this issue that, my wife is very jealous, my husband is very jealous. If you go back into the history of that individual, you're going to find a jilted person. You're going to find that person experienced first-hand cheating. They were cheated on. And so now that's the filter they carry. Anytime they see certain behavior, they just conclude kuti uyu wants to cheat, and they go into their unreasonableness of jealousy. This comes from experiences from the past. So you're not fighting. The issue isn't what's going on now. The issue is whatever happened in the past is being brought into the current scenario. I'll give an example. It will lengthen my explanation, but it will hit home. There's a very interesting narration, a little advert, but very nice, which illustrates this. This gentleman is a cement truck driver, he's a construction driver, and he's driving and he looks at his time. I've got some time. He's got the cement mixer, it's spinning. He's supposed to take it to the construction site, but he realizes I've got some time and I'm in the neighborhood. Let me swing by home and just greet the missus and just let her know, hey, I'm on my way. And so he swings his car, the truck, drives it to the neighborhood, to his home. Africa pa yard on a brand new Mercedes convertible. He packed by that. Then from there, a parking a truck yakachoka, a young and a Mercedes, okay. And sonjera pa window. Because he didn't just go into the house, he sonjered pa window. Imagine when he sonjered in the window, he sees his wife receiving a bouquet of flowers from some man, and then the man hugs her. And she's very happy. He says, so ndeve amachita. So immediately he comes out, goes to his truck, gets in the truck, starts it, reverses, money make. Aimenya make. Atengana chi concrete spew thing. Achieve pack up a man, but it's a convertible. Pa sitting area, chiyasha, cement full, mo truck, mo Mercedes. Then aenda manje asonjera futi pa window to see. Manje pamene asonjera pa window na vena angel, vena magi, ma camera, na chi billboard chikuru check the one that they give with a car on it and the name of the wife, and they're handing it, and it's a TV show. And then the wife sees the man at the window and goes, down goes the keys. And then the man looks at the Mercedes and goes, so what's the illustration there? Exactly that. The fact, why did this man behave so unreasonably? Why didn't he just come from the window, go around, enter the house to see what's going on? Why did he go and have all this tirade? Answer, because he probably had an experience like that in the past. And that experience left a mark. So when he saw the circumstances, it triggered the reaction, and he jumped to conclusions. You'll be amazed, Maggie, how many people do that in relationships, and that's why they struggle. So many times one has to start to learn how to let facts speak for themselves without bringing emotions, but very few have that level of skill.
Now, we've seen pastors, they abuse the pulpit a lot.
Explain abuse the pulpit.
By abusing.
I don't want to conclude wrongly. Which abusing? Preaching per stage.
So abusing abusing the pulpit that I'm talking about is where this is a marriage that has issues, problems. And most of the times it's us women that like opening up to our pastors about issues that are going on in our homes. Right. So now I come to a pastor and I tell him, Rev, nina kona problem ya so. Imomanje ba Rev, mwamba manje masemoniano on how you can fix this. And we've seen a lot of times where men of God are being accused of sleeping with a person.
So you're saying that the pastor slept with a woman?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You know what happens? The reason this happens a lot, and as a therapist, I can tell you firsthand how exactly this happens, and I demonstrated it to a number of my clients. When women are going through issues in their family, in their marriages, they are very vulnerable. When somebody is going through pain, whether it's a man cheating, whether it's an inability to have children, whether it's absence of a man or whatever, these women are very vulnerable emotionally. So women, because of vulnerability, they tend to be gullible. Yes, they tend to be gullible and their guards are not as strong because women are emotional. Women are smart when they're very, very intuitive, but in terms of just their ability to manage their emotions, they're really challenged. So many times in the time that they're going through this pain, this pastor is being a very powerful pillar in the life of the woman. He's bringing guidance, he's bringing light, he's bringing understanding, empathy. And for some of these women, these are things missing in their relationships. So it's very easy for these women, not all, but a number of them, to be so open that they literally now become a snare. That's the word I'll use, a snare. It's not intentional, but at a subliminal level, they do it. They become emotionally open. And so in the process, there are many hints that are passed back and forth. And so for some pastors who are not very strong, they end up succumbing. So it's and then some of them now make it a habit because they're just wicked people. But for others, it may never have been intended. Kuti bazagona now jamkazi. It's not like when the woman came at you, zakachaya. He started off with very innocent thoughts. But the fact that this woman is in the office crying every day, encouraging her, so perhaps that, let me give you a huggy, achinja manje, mbonkala, fwenkula. You know what I mean? So before you know it, sure, yapia. Now, then after yapia, let's repent. Yapia foot. No, let's repent. Yeah, last man. At which lodge are we meeting? So these things start because there are no safeguards. That's why it's not stupidity. When in church setups or in that type of setup, you have a third party. I do most of my meetings virtually, but I've had scenarios where I've had to take women physically through therapy. So there are always two things I do. I tell the woman either, and this one is better for her because sometimes they don't want to open up with some stranger there sitting. Yeah. In case that stranger goes and starts telling my stories. That's totally understood. So I always tell them, we do it online, or if you have a friend of yours that's really close to you, somebody who you trust, or just even a relative, whoever, somebody who I can be totally 100% open to, there are no issues, then come with that person. Yes. So I do that all the time. So they come with that person, we do a session. Because some of the sessions I do are very, very, they really go deep into a person and they, people really break down and there's a lot that happens, especially people who are hurting. Yeah. So you want to make sure that in such a setup, her friend is there or her sister is there or somebody close to her. And some people, they are close, they are good, they're comfortable enough, even with their own husbands. So, because maybe the issue isn't to do with the husband, it's something else. But then the husband is there also. So I do that. And that way, when the woman is at their most vulnerable, there's somebody there, there's an anchor. But some of these pastors are very foolish, and I use the word foolish and naive combined. They think that they can be sitting in there with a beautiful woman breaking down, and then you're not going to be moved to say, okay, now at least let me just give her a hug innocently. You give her a hug, next thing you know, you're happy, I'm office. Like, Jesus, forgive me, please.
And
so for me, that's the major group that is there. Then there's a few absolute wolves, but this is not the topic. So I'll stick with the ones who it was not intended, but chinachtik. It is because of That's why even when you're a friend also, this extends now to friends. They say you are a friend, maybe you're a couple, and there's a couple, you're friends. And then a couple, they have issues. And then this wife of your friend or the wife of your brother is very close to you, talk very freely. So you talk about a lot of issues, wisdom. Because if your friend starts having issues and the wife is always coming to open up to you, redirect. For me as a pastor, I always redirect people to my wife. I've been doing that for years, just that she's not around. But we do that. And that way, she can bond with the wife. Then you're safe. So you don't get into problems because we're human beings.
We've seen pastors that, yes, they'll sleep with a member of the church and this pastor is married. What happens then? Do you suspend them? Do they suspend themselves, or life goes on like that with the whole?
Because it depends which background they come from. Because if they're from the proper traditional, nowadays it's shocking to say Pentecostal Assemblies of God is traditional, but yes. So if they're coming from proper established churches like PAOG, what's it called? Word of something, Word of Faith, and all these churches where there's a proper establishment, Pentecostal holiness, then right through to the traditional churches. Those have structure. So if something like that happens, there's serious procedures. They have ethics, rules on ethics, on what happens. The pastor is suspended. They've got a whole program in place to deal with that. The problem is when you have these gang-ho cowboy arrangements where it's the overseer with his sons and daughters, and these sons and daughters are yes papa, no papa. So bakafaula bosa because he doesn't know what to do, and that is a very bad place to be at. Yes, I actually find those ministries very deadly. Any ministry with no accountability structure, run from. But unfortunately, we're in a era and time where everybody wants to be overseer, founder of their own ministry. Forever in the ministry is, Zambia. No, international. They never do Zambia. It's international. So they're doing their own thing, and then when they foul, they rule unto themselves. So many of them, they just continue. Me, I was at a church where after the pastor was reprimanded and told to sit down and reflect, after about 6 weeks, he just came back in church and said, I'm back.
And you have no say?
Me, I wasn't there. I left long before. The moment they just heard the pastor, the moment I had proof the pastor was mucking around, I said, no.
I can't be part of this.
No. It was very painful for me. But I left, I don't support it at all. But unfortunately, it's because these pastors are on their own masters, and a lot of them have spiritual cover from Nigeria, which I find ridiculous. So that pastor in Nigeria, is he going to know what you're doing here in Zambia? He can't. No idea. So you're busy sleeping around with half of the members of the church. And then, the challenge is that they are very manipulative. They use language which scares people. So nobody can even talk against it. That's why even when I talk the way I talk, I look like I'm fighting pastors. Because they come from churches where pastors are not accountable. Because if pastors were accountable, they would not even be saying what I'm saying. No, you pastor, how can you be talking against pastors? You just fight men of God. The man of God is sleeping with half the women in the church that I'm fighting. No, I'm just saying the truth. It's just that there's cyber, so we can't name them. But we know them.
Now, Rev, we spoke of...
Sorry, they are watching. We know you. Go.
We've spoken. You spoke lengthily about these females or women that have a background where they've had their run with life, and then they come back to the church, and now they're so decent because now they want to get married. They're so holy and everything. But there are also women that have been abused.
Yeah, I agree.
So now, in that aspect, how do you now approach an issue where a man comes to complain about a woman and maybe they don't
That's
know?
Why you see now, Maggie, that's the reason why I don't do pre-marital counseling. Because my premarital counseling will be, what's your background? And what's your family like? What's going on there? So let's learn about your background. How many men did you sleep with? Are you ready to accept this? Even you also. How many women have you been sleeping with?
So you actually ask those questions?
Oh, yes. I go very deep. Because you see, we have to know. Have you been sleeping around already or not? No, we haven't. Okay. So let's talk about these things. Because why? It's important you know fully what you're getting into. And me, I have a saying which I've been shot for, but I say it. Community projects should marry community projects.
Community per community.
Because once happen in Milan. So when they meet, it balances. Not at the community project akwatila virgin. Icon, man. Whether it's a man or a woman, no. Because that just brings hell. Experience has shown me that men tend to settle down better with virgins than women. And I know people will argue, but I have been counseling people forever. Generally, statistically, if you have community project man, and then he decides, no, first he gets saved. And then he decides, no, I'm serious now with Jesus. Most of these guys, like in 10 men with that background, 6 will settle for good. They will not move around. 4 will remain messing around. If you switch it around and it's a woman that was messing around and then she marries a virgin brother, Brother Bernard, who only knows how to lift people before the Lord, She marries a guy like that. If there are 10 women, only 2. Only 2. And you see, and I sound really bad to say this, but I speak from experience. When I was not saved, I saw it. When we got saved, there was one wonderful sister of mine. I won't say the circumstances because immediately people who know me will know who I'm talking about. So I won't say. But this sister loved Jesus. She genuinely got saved. That I know because she changed her life completely. This sister was Community Project Pro Max. So just you use your imagination. She gets genuinely saved. I know she got saved. And she became a Jesus lover. Proper. That sister, you know, in her ministry of reaching out, there were a number of us brothers who were very, very naughty guys. Me, this one was like my sister, so I never touched her. But my 4 brothers who were in our group, later on when we were inquiring with each other, this was a sister that loved Jesus. What was she doing sleeping with all these my guys? And she was sleeping with these my guys as she's doing her so-called outreach.
Like so she never really...
No, she was genuinely saved. But you know, I'm saying it again. When you're a community project and have been around, that thing ignited in some of these women. It's very difficult to put it out.
Just put it out, yeah.
And I'm very sad to say that up to today, this lady has not been married. She's in her 60s now.
Is she still a community project?
No. She got saved, so she stopped. But she sampled those brothers because when I asked them, guys, all these brothers are now serious apostles, pastors, serious men of God, like our whole group. So we give her credit that, you know, she reached out to us and we all got saved in this group. But as she was reaching out,
there were some happenings.
There were benefits which these guys were able to sample from there. And then it's really sad. I mean, I'm admitting and laughing about it, but it's a fact.
Yeah,
she did that. And then you see, when we now got into the youth movement, we saw the same thing. Yeah, you have these sisters, they come in on fire for Jesus with like a background.
Yeah,
sure. And then from there now some poor pastor comes and marries that girl. After marrying that girl, you have the stories afterwards. That girl continues to secretly mess around because whatever, like Mama Chikamadeka said, all those experiences have to be sustained.
Yeah.
So this brother, like we said, is Brother Bernard, he only knows how to lift people
in the Lord.
He doesn't know how to lift anything else. So those are problems. So now you see, if they were in my therapy class, I'd say, no, we need to have a discussion around the sex. Like, serious, let's just talk about it. So you, what do you like? What's the problem here? Can we introduce third parties? You know, and when I say third parties, I mean toys. Because this woman can't be managed by this guy. So let's bring some toys to help. Because you see, these things at the end of the day is about just being open and discussing. I'm telling you. But then that's revolt.
No, Rev. I'm trying. I'm diverting a little because this is now very interesting. I'm diverting a little. Before I even come back to the toys, I want to find out something, Rev. How do you even know that this man is a community project? Because for a woman, it's very easy for you to know that she's a community project. She has a name.
No.
So for a man,
yeah, the one for the names, you can tell. But there are some who just go to a completely new town, knew everything, and nobody knows.
Okay.
You know they do that. That's why in our culture, elders used to do some research. It's a pity this new generation don't even believe in those things. Because in the old days, they're like, which family? No, let's give us time. Then somebody, and then we will go to research. Am I lying? Find research at ija family basop. Osa gwira once as mine my buried. Anachosa mimba to a point of kuchosa na my uterus. Yeah, real story. So you find families who do some research, and that's what would help. Because if there's a family with a reputation, you'll be warned not to marry from there. But again, of course, young men are on fire. They love the woman. No, me, yes, we don't. You know, Jesus said we are now new creatures. Okay. What you done? But we know statistically, even in the church, almost 50% of marriages are ending in divorce, and these are spirit-filled fire churches. So, because my tradition, there's no mzimu there. There's no spirit. Okay, nanga mzimu. I'm gonna pempela 3 hours my tongues. How come they're divorcing? So nish my tongue in your pose. So you find that there's real issues, and let's just strip all this pretense and let's get to the heart.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's deal with that.
Well, I'm with Rev, and trust me, we can unpack for the longest of time. We can be here for 5 hours. It's so interesting that he's here. But today, this is where we end. Rev, it's been amazing having you
Maggie, it's an
on
honor.
Ilyashi. And I really hope you continue coming here, because I have a lot to learn from you. And I think I'll come for one of those therapy
No problem.
sessions. Well, this has been Ilyashi, and please do not forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, BMTV Zambia. We are also there on Topstar channel 114 as BMTV Zambia, even on Facebook, BMTV Zambia channel 114. I just want to thank everyone that has watched this episode today. To our local Zambian fans, we say thank you, we see you. And to our diaspora fans, our international fans, we just want to appreciate you for your presence. Thank you for showing us love on YouTube. And I just want to make mention, this program is available for sponsorship. So if you want it to go on, if you want to see Rev more here, please sponsor this program. Well, from me, Maggie, and Rev, Mwambazi, of course, the man who says it as it is. It's bye for now.